Good morning. This is day 4 of our trip to the Kansai Hiroshima region, and oh, look at this. It's pretty cool. We are sitting, obviously, at a train station, and we are on our way to Amanohashidate. We left the hotel really early this morning. Oh, I think this is our train, yeah. Well, we gotta hop onto our train, so I'll check back in a moment. And welcome back. We are now at the Ine port. That's actually one of the boats that you could hop onto to take a cruise in the Ine Bay. We are waiting for the bus to go to the next part or to the Ine viewpoint, I should say. And to continue my story from the Fukuchiyama station, we woke up early this morning and hopped onto a train that I reserved. And actually, I'm sorry, we took the metro to Osaka Station to hop onto a train that I reserved. And that train was to get us all the way to Amanohashidate. We arrived at Amanohashidate about 2 hours later. When we got to the Fukuchiyama, that was about, I want to say an hour into the actual ride. And so then we waited there for about 10 minutes. The train was really punctual, as they typically are. It showed up, we hopped on, and got here. Took about another hour and a half-ish. And then we found out that the e-bike place that I would typically want to rent from was closed on Fridays. Today is Friday. So we hopped on to a bus, which was really the only option, and made our way over to the furthest place from Amanohashidate, which is Ine, or right here. Technically, we could have gone a little bit further and then came back for the boat tour. But we got off here, hopped onto the boat, went out and did the bay ride. One really neat thing about the boat is that they do have the seagull feeding that you typically see here in Japan. And there's also kites, which are, I believe, a type of falcon that come and grab food as well. But the whole idea is to see that I believe Ine is the Little Venice of Japan. And you can see all these houses that have boats for their inside their garages that are like hanging right above the water. And that was actually pretty amazing. Now, I will say the bird feeding kind of takes away from it, but it is what it is. So what can you do about that? We still haven't gotten to our hotel yet. That is one thing. And because of the e-bike situation, I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to be doing or how we're going to get around. The bus does take quite a while here. But at least we got the cruise out of the way. And it's a very, very steady boat. Like, it's like catamaran-ish. I don't know how to describe that, where there's a hole in the hub, or in the hull. A hole in the hull. And yeah, it is super agile. We were able to get really close to the houses, see all the like oyster farms that they have going on here. And then turned around, got back here. I'm thinking we're going to take a bus to the next spot because I looked up how long it takes to walk. It looks like it's going to take 40 minutes. I thought we could just walk around the hill, but it's probably out of the question right now. But when we got back here, I know I'm jumping all over the place. We went inside. It is 1 o'clock right now. We were hungry, so we decided to get some food, and we got a fish burger, a special burger from the area, which was, I want to say it was like a croquette burger. And then we got some pudding and Ine soda, which was a cranberry, like an Italian cranberry soda. And then we got a olive oil soda, or an olive soda rather, and that was actually really good. Both sodas were really good. The fish burger was a little too fishy for Lynn. I knew exactly what to expect because it was aji fry on a burger, which is delicious in my opinion. And then the other burger, which was like the croquette on the burger, that was actually fantastic. On top of that, we also got a croquette and fried potatoes. Everything was delicious. We actually finished off with some pudding and some coffee. And then, yeah, I think that's really where we're at right now. So we will check back in a moment. I think our bus is almost here, so I got to break down. Anyhow, check back in a moment. Welcome back, and we have gone quite a bit. I believe the last time I checked in, we were just getting off the cruise to Ine Bay, and we were finishing up lunch. It's dinner time now, so I don't know if we did a bit, but we actually traveled quite a bit. And so the bus that I thought was our bus was actually wrong. We weren't allowed to purchase anything on that bus. So we had to wait another, it was like 20 minutes. And then after getting onto our bus, we went all the way to the Michi no Eki, which has this viewpoint, which is really cool. And Lynn was looking for a cache. Did you ever find it?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, it was a no find. But we did go up, and the crazy thing is that the Michi no Eki is at the top of a hill. So you actually have to go and have the bus take you all the way up to the hill, onto the top. I decided that's where I was going to have us get off at, because I didn't want to risk missing that and having to climb stairs in order to get there. I read on a map somewhere that there was 275 stairs. I didn't actually count them on the way down, but once we went over to the viewpoint, the platform, and checked out Ine Bay, we actually then came down that staircase and walked around into the Ine city area. And it's really, really well kept, really, really nice. The first thing we hit when we were walking in was a ton of cafes and restaurants. Lynn had to use the restroom. There was a really clean restroom there as well for us to use. And you could just actually sit down at a random place and kind of enjoy the views of the bay. And I don't know if I mentioned this while we're having lunch, but our view while having lunch was incredible. It was so peaceful and tranquil. And Lynn called Colt while we were there, and he's just like, wow, it's actually really quiet where you're at. And I think the last time we called him, we were at the Osaka Expo. Quite the difference. Other than that, we actually then just continued walking down the narrow streets of the city and seeing interesting things. I don't have too much footage because they're private residences. Some of them were turned into amusement type deals, though. There was a house that said that there were fishermen that lived there for, what was it, 50 years, 20 years?
Oh yeah,
something
it was just
like that.
a historic one, and then they had old fishing gear that they used in the Showa and the previous eras.
So they had some like historical antiquities.
Yeah, it was 200 yen.
Yeah, it was 200 yen to go into their house to see that area. It was more into their garage. And that's the cool thing about the garages here, are that they are boat garages. Their garages have boats that just go down into the water or come up out of the water. And for the most part, when we're walking down the streets, there weren't really that many places to park a car. So maybe that was a benefit of me not renting a car and just coming right out, because the parking situation definitely would have been difficult. Although we could have parked at the Michi no Eki and walked down, which would have sucked because that meant we would have had to walk back up. Mm-hmm. But it would have maybe saved us time too. Making our way through the city and to the main Ine area where people are all getting off the bus and like taking photos and everything, we actually went over to the bus stop, and I was looking, I'm like, oh my god, I think we're gonna have to like wait like an hour because we just missed it. And at that time, maybe about like 5-10 minutes later, the direct express bus came, and I'm like, hey, will that take us to the Amanohashidate cable car? And he said yes. So we're like, okay, whatever. So we got on. The difference here is instead of 400 yen per person, it was 1,000 yen per person.
Flat rate, yeah.
It's a flat rate, and it was direct though. He didn't stop really anywhere else to pick anyone or to drop anyone else off. And the only stop that he did between the Ine city was the Ine Bay tour area, which is where the big boats are. I did learn this. If you want to take the small tour boats, you need to actually go to Ine City, and it's on their main pier that you land at for the bus, and all the small boats are there, and they actually take you quite close to all the homes. The big boat kind of gets you close, but not nearly as close as the small boats do. Like, there's still a little bit of a difference, and I mean that's going to be made, or you're going to see that in the B-roll that I took when we're on the cruise going through. The cruise overall was fun, by the way. I don't remember if I mentioned this. It just was, there was a lot of bird feeding on it, and one of the funny things Lynn mentioned as we were leaving Ine City was that it was like, oh, we took that boat, and it's like, you want to know how I know? Because it's full of birds. And so it was just, there were birds everywhere, and it was pretty crazy. So the benefit of taking this express bus, though, was that instead of taking an hour to get to where we're at right now, it took us 30 minutes. So we saved a ton of time in the end, which that's totally worth the extra 600 yen that we had to pay. Because other than that, we'd have to wait an hour for the regular bus, which that wasn't worth it. And so we got here directly, and once we got off, unfortunately, we got here at like 3:50-ish. So once we got to the actual area, they have two type of cable cars. They have the chair lift and the funicular. And unfortunately, the funicular was the only one that was running. The chairs was just shut off at 4, and they stopped taking people at 4. But we were able to take the funicular up here and check out the view. This is also the famous place where you stare between your legs at the sandbar, which is pretty awesome. It is, I don't want to say it's raining, it's more like sprinkling. Like, there are some drops of rain. It's bigger than sprinkling, but it's so little that there's not much actually happening. And so we were able to just walk around fine with that. They had another one of those clay disc deals where you throw that through a hoop, which Lynn tried out. But okay, we're gonna have to load up here. So the funicular runs on every 15 minutes, so 0, 15, 30, 45. And it is 4 minutes to 15. It is 5:15 now almost. And so we're gonna have to get on this funicular. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it short, and I'll finish the story once we get back to the hotel. All right, and welcome back. Clearly, I am in the hotel room now. The getting here was an adventure, but let's go ahead and finish up from the Kasamatsu Park that we were at. And so, as I was saying before, Lynn went and tried her hand at the disc toss through the hoops, and unfortunately was not successful, nor were the other Americans that followed her. I think one made it once out of 3. But yeah, we then made sure we got our photos of us bending over to look at the sandbar. As mentioned before, it's the famous thing to do here. We then went and shopped around in the souvenir shop for a few things to see if we could bring that to either people in Thailand or people back home. And that kind of just concluded our deal there. We thought we had enough time to actually catch an earlier funicular going down, but we literally just missed it. And so we went and sat down and started the video previously before figuring out that it was almost time to go back down. Once we got to the base of the mountain, we walked over and saw a supermarket. Now, the original plan was for us to actually just hop onto a boat and come back over to the station area and then come to the hotel. But since there was a supermarket there, why not check it out? So we walked on in and grabbed a few just essentials, I guess you could say, some like silly little snacks like this bread right here. And this is delicious. Caramel corn. I don't know what this black version is, but the original red version is delicious. So, this is something I've been wanting to try for a while. This is karantal. I I actually have no idea what it is. All I know is that it's not technically considered a snack and it's not technically considered a dessert, which puts it in a weird area, because I was watching a couple of food shows and they said that they could make a show out of different types of this snack. I don't know what to call it other than that by itself, but they look like Cheetos that instead of use sugar, instead of use cheese, use like a sugar. Actually, I don't know if that's black sugar or something. I know this top character is black. I don't know what the bottom one is. It's not sugar, I guess, technically. But we will find out how that is tomorrow. Anyhow, finishing up shopping, we then went over to try to find the boat, to only find out that the boat has closed for the day, so we couldn't take a boat back. Next best thing, let's go ahead and look for the bus. We went over to the bus stop to find out that we just missed the previous bus and had to wait about a half an hour for the last bus of the day, which ran at 6:26, I believe it was. And so we sat huddled in that dark bus stop, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, until we eventually decided we're just going to wait outside. And it was starting to pick up the rain, and so we waited outside. The bus, strangely enough, with no traffic, nothing going on, it was like very light, right, Lynn? Was 4 minutes late. So I was kind of like worried at the beginning, like what's going on. But he eventually showed up, fine by me. We hopped on, and about 40 minutes later, we got off the bus. Just as a FYI, I think I mentioned that the express bus was 1,000 yen. This one was 400 to get from one side of the bay to the other side, to get back over here to the station side, I guess you'd say. Hopped off at the station. Our hotel is somewhat right next to the station. We're staying at the Alberg Hotel, and I guess this is as good of time as any to do the room tour. So let's go ahead and check out the room. All right, so the stairs are right over there. There is no elevator for this place. Kind of a very neat thing about this joint. We are in room 306, but I'll have to try to do this again in the morning. As you walk down the hall, there's actually this part is actually a ramp to go to an angled window that shows the bay. That's right out there. But this is an emergency exit, so we can't go. But anyhow, going back to the room, again, 306, go in. It's a little different than what I thought it was going to be. Admittedly, I thought we were going to have a private toilet, but it's communal. Whatever, I guess it is what it is. We're only here for one night.
Yeah, it's one night.
So, starting directly to the left is the TV desk area. Those are some of the groceries that we bought when we were at the supermarket that I mentioned a little earlier. Apparently they only have green tea. There's no coffee. Shame. And then we have... what is this? Oh, these are huppies. These are jackets to go on top of our robes. We have our refrigerator, chair, and then these are shoehorns. Shoehorn and a brush. And just to let you know, this is an onsen resort. I didn't really know that. Booking the room, though, that's kind of funny. We have our 2 beds, and then they provided towels, and then sandals, which... on the ground right here. And then we have a window that shows us, I believe that's where the onsen is. I don't know how close I could actually get it. I mean, I guess technically I could just extend this. You could get real close. So, and the reason I'm doing this on the Insta360 rather than my camera is coming up right here. So although you see the 2 beds right here, and you see the towel rack that you'd see at any onsen or sento place, and there's the air purifier. Apparently this was underneath the TV just going to go ahead and move this over. Just like that. I guess we could turn this on. There we go. Alright, we have this ladder right here. And actually, I don't even have to climb up. I could just do this. And we go up. And you look around. And there is the loft section. Right next to the air conditioner. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Super far away from the mic. But yeah, so that is the loft area. The loft is for one person only. And then, this is kind of nice. They do it in Europe though, I feel. There is a mirror and sink vanity set, I think this is what it's called, inside of the room. So even though you go use the restroom outside, which is just right down the hall, like it's not that bad of a deal, we could actually go real quick. So as we walk down this hall, there's the ladies' room. Here's the men's room. It's just a basic stalls and a toilet behind that door over there. I'm not going to go into the restroom though, because it's a public restroom. And then we are on the 3rd floor. Like I said, there is no elevator or escalator, so it is what it is. And then walk down this way back to the room. And so I will go ahead and end the room tour here and go back to the talking head portion. All right, well. So, as you can see, the room is, well, tiny. Has like hostel feel to it. Like, particularly with that loft bit. Don't know what's going on there. Definitely could fit 3 people. The room is set for 3 people. Which, that's also weird. That's not the norm in most Japanese rooms. So, we also learned that the onsen that's 2 doors over, or the hotel that's 2 doors over, has an onsen on the inside, or a sento. And we're actually allowed to go and use it. And there's actually like times that we're allowed to use it up to midnight tonight. So, we took advantage of that. But going back to the fact that we checked into the hotel, we came up, dropped our luggage off, which is just backpacks and I guess the bag of food from the supermarket. And then we immediately went back downstairs to the restaurant that's inside of the hotel. There were a few down the streets, but we weren't going to fight with the rain. And Lynn really was looking and she said that everything seemed comparable. The only thing that was standoutish was there was a ramen joint, which strangely enough, we've not had ramen once yet this trip. Yeah, there's only 7 restaurants that were open in the town, so, I mean, I'm not surprised. The town closes early. Everything closes at like 4 or 5 o'clock. Like, it is what it is. And so we went to the restaurant that was at the base of the hotel, or the floor level of the hotel, and I got a hamburger steak with ebi fry. Lynn got a yakiniku bowl, and Lynn's was delicious. Mine wasn't bad. I think Lynn definitely got the better of the two, because hers was actually the hotel recommended item. I just want a little bit more protein. Mine came with a salad as well as a plate of rice. Lynn's came with a bowl of miso soup and this kind of like sweet and sour fish dish that was on the side. It was pretty good. Lynn ordered this special type of orange juice, which was kind of just yeah, it was like a watered down version of orange juice. So it wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad. It was orange juice. And then I got a cassis orange juice, which that is a specific type of alcohol liqueur that they mix with orange juice, and that was delicious. Overall winner. I was taught that by some Japanese kids when I was going to school here. After that, we came back upstairs to kind of grab our stuff, and we went to go take a bath over at the onsen, which I was kind of surprised to find out that was Lynn's first time going in and experiencing different types or styles of relaxation within the sento. area. So there was like a lay flat area. There was a seated area, you're saying? So a stone bench that had onsen water coming down on the top. They had the regular pools. The men's and the women's were segregated and they were different. Mine was actually a lot smaller than Lynn's, and I actually ended up not being in there nearly as long as Lynn was. There was also an outdoor section, which was kind of nice. So we get to go sit outdoors under the rain in the onsen, which I actually love doing. So did that. Then once we finished, we came back to the hotel. The rain actually picked up quite a bit, and so I'm kind of happy to be in the room, but we just walked over back into our hotel, came upstairs. There's no elevator here, as I mentioned in the room tour. So we just walked up the stairs, came in, and here we are. About to call it a night. We're both really tired. I think it's because we woke up early and not because it's late, because I think it's only like 10:30. But anyhow, I think that's it for the day. A lot of goals completed. We're going to do a few more things tomorrow morning, and then we're out of here. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next video.